This is Mr. Ivan. These questions is especially for those students who is taking IM1 this week or next week. Okay, this is a topic about functions. Do share with your friends taking IM1. If you like it or that you think it's helpful, please subscribe to my channel for more exam helps with regards to questions that will come out. Alright, so these particular questions at the start, they ask you to sketch the graph. Now first you must understand that fx is a quadratic equation. So when you have a quadratic equation and they ask you to sketch, now there are many, of course, when you are now if you are in year 4, you will know that you can use differentiation integration. Okay, but if you are in year 3, when they ask you to sketch a graph like that, I would prefer that you use complete the square first. Okay, why do you use complete the square? Is so that later you will need to use the complete the square to find the domain. Okay, so for example, so for this 3x squared plus 6x plus 5, remember that complete the square you can only do complete the square with the x square coefficient being 1. Okay, there's many variations to do complete the square, so this is my method. Plus 2x plus 1 square minus 1 square plus 5, and you will have 3 bracket x plus 1 bracket square minus 3 plus 2. Okay, that's because this completes the square. Your 3 need to goes to the 1, and then you will have 3 bracket x plus 1 square, so this is a 5, sorry, and then plus 2. Okay, so after you complete the square, you should know that this is a U-shaped curve, and the minimum point is at -1, 2. So when we draw the graph like that, -1, 2 here, alright, it will be U-shaped and it turns. Okay, this is not very good because it has to turn exactly here and then cut upwards, and here over here is 5. So you have your fx is equals to 3x squared plus 6x plus 5. Okay, now why do they ask you to do this? Is so that after this they will ask for the corresponding range. So when they talk about range, you should know that they are looking for the y value. So what are the possible y value that it can be? It must come from the minimum point. Now the minimum value of this graph is 2. So there's two ways you can represent the range in. Number 1, you can put it in an inequality. So you can say that y must be greater or equals to 2. This is one way. Now when you go to A levels next year, you will also learn how to present it another way. In the sense is a range of f is equals to, this means it includes 2, okay, from 2 to infinity. Alright, this means exclude. So this means that it can be equals to 2. This means that it cannot be equals to infinity because infinity is not countable. Alright, so this is another way of presenting. Some of you may know it. Okay, is that it doesn't matter which way you present, both is fine. Alright, so the crucial part is part 3. The crucial part is part 3. If f is restricted to x greater or equals to k, find the smallest value for which f inverse exists. Alright, so you must know, number 1, concept time. Okay, so for f inverse to exist, what must happen to exist? Yeah, if you do not know this, okay, and exam is next week, you better work doubly hard. Alright, it must be a one-to-one function. Okay, what does a one-to-one function means? Means for every value of x, there's only one value of y. Now just now, or rather over here, what we have is, this is the graph. Okay, this graph is not one-to-one function because when I draw a line like that, you will have 2 answers. When I draw a line, I have 2 answers. When I draw a line like that, I have 1 answer. But I draw a line like that, I still have 2 answers. So this is called a horizontal line test. If you do not pass the horizontal line test, in which one x value can only have one y value, then you are not 1, 1. Okay, so in this case, at this moment, your fx is not 1, 1. But we can restrict the domain. So when we talk about the domain, we are talking about the x values. Okay, so let me draw the graph again. So this is the graph, -1 U shape over here. Now, so at this moment, this is where your k is. Okay, I can take either the left side or the right side so that the graph is 1, 1. Now, I look at the question. The question wants x greater than equals to k. So this is the part where I'm talking about x greater or equals to k, such that it is 1, 1. So now the question is asking, what must this k be? It will always be at the minimum point. So for the first part, okay, x must be greater equals to -1. Okay, so therefore k equals to -1. Only in this portion, if we take the domain to be, okay, if we take the domain to be this part, then you can be 1, 1. All right, and why is it this part? Because this is the greatest that the domain can be. Okay, so for part 2, they ask us, or rather, so for part, this is for part 3, and then the next part is they ask you to find the F inverse. So if you can remember, to find F inverse, we must first let y be equals to fx, which means y is equals to 3x squared plus 6x, okay, plus 5. Now, what must we do? We have to make x the subject. So to make x the subject from quadratic, right, there is only one way: complete square. Okay, to make x a subject from quadratic, you can only complete the square. Why? Because there's an x square here and there's an x here. There's no way you can make x a subject only. Alright. So what we have to do, we have to complete the square. Now that's the good thing, because at the start we have already completed the square to y equals to 3 bracket x plus 1 square plus 2. Okay, now we have this, we bring the 2 over, y minus 2 over 3 is equals to x plus 1 square. Okay, this would also means that x is equals to plus minus square root of y minus 2 over 3 minus 1. Okay, so therefore f inverse x is equals to plus minus square root x minus 2 over 3 minus 1. We put the x back into the y. Now, looking back at my graph here, okay, remember they are looking for x greater equals to k. There can be two possibilities for which is 1, 1. One is the left side and one is the right side. Now because they want the right side one, which means the function of the inverse function must be positive. Okay, so your answer for f inverse x is equals to, okay, the positive one, x minus 2 over 3 minus 1. Always state the domain. X must be greater equals to -1. Okay, so this is the domain for which this f inverse, okay, can exist. Alright, so this is the most important example about functions you have to know. Okay, number 1, using complete the square to draw the graph. After you draw the graph, you must know that they will always be asking for the greatest value of k for this domain to exist. If we either take the left side or the right side. Okay, after you know which left side and which right side to take, how to find the f inverse? By letting y equals to fx, use complete the square to make the subject. After you make the subject, you either take the positive value or the negative value. Okay, do know this example before you go to exam. Thank you.